I'm Gary, and this is Coasting with Culture. I like to combine theme park visits and riding roller coasters with various cultural experiences around the world. After having spent time in various parts of Canada while getting to ride some excellent coasters and seeing really neat sights along the way, the last part of this great Canadian coaster run has finally come. This final run of parks with coasters includes a smaller theme park, a family entertainment center, an indoor amusement park, and a few last rides at the largest park in the province. To kick off the second day of seeking Quebec coasters, I went west of Montreal to visit Pays de Merveilles. This park is more geared to families with younger children as they offer a number of smaller rides. And it has a fairy tale storybook theme where you can meet different characters from those particular tales. The rides are complemented with small performance spaces for plays, storytelling, and meet and greets. Along with these, they offer several play structures for the kids to enjoy, several additional photo opportunities, miniature golf that is complimentary with your admission to the park, and an Alice in Wonderland themed maze featuring the card army of the Queen of Hearts. Of course, you know why I came here. Coasters. The first was a very shameless credit, but one with a fun story. This Minor Mike design wisdom coaster is called Lulu's roller coaster in honor of Lulu, a longtime employee and performer at the park who is one of the nicest people I've met in all of Quebec. The other coaster in the park is Intrépide, which originally operated at Fort Jefferson Fun Park in New Hampshire. This is a larger miler coaster that offered a pretty fun ride, even if it is meant more for families. Some of the larger versions of miler coasters can offer a surprising ride. When I continued from here, there were a few fairs further into Quebec, but information was limited on them, and I found upon arrival to each of them that there weren't any coasters, and because of the limited time I had this day, I would skip them if they didn't. But I eventually found another coaster stop, this one in Ottawa at Fun Haven. This family entertainment center has a large variety of games in their arcade, but I was after their SBF Visa spinner, Crazy 8. Somehow it took this long for one of these to come up on this trip. On the way back to Montreal, I took a detour to see Canada's Parliament building. Although I didn't stick around long, as I had a bit of a drive to get back to Montreal that night. While the final day of this coaster run started wet and gloomy, it worked out perfectly as the first stop of the day was indoors at Méga Parc. By no means is this park anywhere as large as the likes of the Nickelodeon Universe parks. However, this place has several rides and attractions like their hubless Ferris wheel, and offers a design that feels like it might have been influenced by the steampunk style, with lots of lights to make it bright. One of the more unique offerings in this park is their ice skating path, which circles around the lowest floor of the park. While ice skating is typically thought of as a winter activity, this rink allows it to be enjoyed year-round. And it's no surprise that it would be popular here in Canada as they embrace their winter sports. It seemed like it would be wrong to pass on an opportunity to ice skate while in Canada, so I rented a pair of skates and took several laps around. Something that makes their ice skating path stand out from others is its close interactions with the park's larger roller coaster, Electro. This is a custom-designed mock coaster, which rides along the park's ceiling for much of its course until it gets into the large helix that drops down by the ice skating path, making it pretty hard not to notice. While this isn't a record-breaking ride in speed, its unique setting does add to the fun of the ride. The lift and the first couple of turns are inside of a tunnel of lights, which can help give it the feeling of speed. Once out of the tunnel, it then rides along the ceiling on the side of the park to the large helix, bringing it closer to the ice skating path. Once it exits the helix, it then goes into the brakes and back to the station, but you'll only be here briefly because it does go through for a second lap. Another unique ride is Telegraph, a single-rail suspended coaster called the Cloud Coaster by Extreme Engineering that seats one person at a time. In some respects, this resembles a zip line, as it's set on a downward slope the entire length of the ride, until you get to the lift at the end that brings you back into the station. The best part of this ride is the unique views you get of the park below. You may be familiar with beaver tails at different theme parks, but this location at Méga Parc had an item that I couldn't help but try, and that was the poutail. Fries, cheese curds, and gravy like traditional poutine served on top of one of their plain beaver tails, and it was pretty tasty. This park was a nice surprise of Quebec, and worth a stop. But the day ended back at La Ronde, where I took a few more laps on some favorite coasters, like the B&M inverted coaster Les Vampires and their B&M mini hyper Goliath. After La Ronde, that would bring an end to the Great Canadian Coaster Run. The next morning, I began my journey home, first with one last WestJet flight across the country to Vancouver, which then led to a connection back home to Seattle, once again with Delta. Because of the direction we took off from Vancouver, the flight to Seattle offered the chance to catch a glimpse of Vancouver's Playland, as well as Cole Harbour, Stanley Park, and some incredible mountain views as we turned south for home. And that was the Great Canadian Coaster Run, a week-and-a-half journey with 7 flights to visit 5 different Canadian provinces, and the chance to add 35 new coasters to my credit list at 16 different venues, all of which, except for one, were first-time visits. Among those 35 new coasters, one helped me hit a major milestone in my coaster riding life. And of course, there were great cultural experiences along the way, which helped to add to this adventure. Thank you all for checking out the Great Canadian Coaster Run. I hope you enjoyed it and that you'll come back in the future for more Coasting with Culture. Thank you for watching this Coasting with Culture video. If you'd like to see future videos about combining theme park visits and cultural experiences, please consider clicking that subscribe button down below. You'll also find Coasting with Culture on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, plus more content at coastingwithculture.com. Until next time, take care and safe travels.